Yesterday.
Where's the Zeb? Meeting with Bender. He was in the middle, right? Oh, he was? He was telling me. Sure. You think that?
Okay, so yesterday, Daf Peites, right? So we had a continuation of the whole conversation between Moshe Rabbeinu and the Malachim. Finally, the Malachim gave in, and they all gave him presents, right? Then we had the Satan talking to Hashem about who he gave the Torah to. Moshe talking to Hashem about the Torah, and then the description of Har Sinai. We said there's 5 different names of Har Sinai. Then Amud Beis was the why the red string in Yom Kippur has a plural, goes with plural. So we said because even if your averos are just so steady like years, it's still you're able to do tshuva. And then Hashem talking to the Avos about the averos that Klal Yisrael did. And then how Yitzchak bailed the Klal Yisrael out. I don't know if that's the right term to use, but that's what it is. Now we had the Mishna of the measurements of carrying wood, spices, and dyes, and the difference between a quill and wood, right? One is, we said, to make a key. There's enough to make a key, and one you need to roast, roast a scrambled egg. Okay, so now we start with... hold on a second. Where we're starting by the 2 dots, right? Why am I not? Oh, enough. Oh, because I'm on the wrong daf. Okay. Yeah, the bottom of pay test on my base on the bottom. Tavlin kedei l'tavel beit zakal. All right. Yeah, you have it. Olam has it.
Yeah.
Yes.
2 dots on the bottom of pay test on my base. Yeah. So we said spices is in order to spice a light egg, right? Raminu will ask you a kasha, and this is a long kasha here. It takes a bunch of lines in the Gemara. Tavlin, you have spices, shnayim begimel shemus mimin echad. If you have spices, 2 or 3 different names, but they're from the same type, right? Which Rashi says you have white pepper, black pepper, right? That's one, or long pepper. And then you have back in the Gemara, or it's 3 different types. So asurin, they're all asur, mitztarfen zemzeh. They're asur and they are mitztarfen. Yeah, they combine. V'amar Chizkiya says, "B'mine mesika shanu." We're talking about things that are there to give sweetness, to flavor. And since it's right to sweeten up a gederah in order to spice up a gederah. Time of the chazal l'mazik is a gederah, but so the reason is because it's to sweeten up the gederah. Halav if not, then it wouldn't combine. So we say hachanami chazal l'mazik. No, so here too the spices that we're talking about. Meaning, I'm sorry, I did the kasha too fast. So we're saying that here we're asking a kasha. If it's not if it wouldn't be to sweeten up the kedera, right? Then all types of things would combine. So we say no. Here also we're saying that it's the reason why they combine is because here we're also referring to being sweetening up the kedera. Okay. Hold on one second.
So if you're a bad cook and the food tastes bad, then you're not going to be chayav. Then it's not usher?
Well, no, Why? I don't think it has to do with whether you're actually successful in your spicing. I think just the attempt. No? I think.
What did you say? Batal adaitalei to call them like the average person that could cook. You don't base it on a bad cook.
No, but I'm saying, if you're taking all the spices to combine it into one pot, right? So then clearly they should combine. No? Does that make sense? Meaning the brisa sounds like you only combine the spices if you're looking to, like you're making a cholent, right? So you put in this spice and that spice and that. So sometimes the cholent comes out, sometimes the cholent doesn't come out. But the point is that from the brisa, it sounds like only if you're putting them, you're combining them and carrying them out together because you plan on putting them into one pot. What the end result is, I don't think it makes a difference. But our Mishna it sounds like they always combine. It has nothing to do with that you're using it to sweeten up or to spice up a pot. So we're saying, no, our Mishna is also, that's the kasha. So Gemara is answering, our Mishna is also talking about only where they only combine because you're using it to sweeten up a pot. But I don't think the end result makes a difference. Right? I think so. Maybe you're saying what Taisus is saying. I don't think that's what Taisus is saying. Taisus is getting involved with its nicer time to begin. Okay, whatever. I hear, but I think it just means the end result doesn't make a difference. Okay. Yes. Okay, so what about the klipe guys and klipe remind him satis upua kidei l'svaya beged cotton. These are all things that you use for dyeing. DYE, right? Or a minute, ask you, Stira, how might see someone shriyan kidei l'svaya dugma le'ira? If you take out these spices, well, it really means there's a better word for that. How do you say it? Herbs. Thank you. That are soaked. It's the amount is in order to dye a dugma le'ira, which is a dugma is a sample, right? For an era, for the thing that the weavers use. Because, and we had this concept a couple of times before, so meaning we're paying a stira. First, our Mishna says cotton. That's the amount, enough dye to a small beged, right? But we see from the brisa that it's enough to do a dugma leira, which is a much smaller measurement. So Nachman says, B'Shem Rav Ravua, because a person's not going to be matriach to soak dye for that small amount, right? Meaning you're not gonna be busy with it for that small of an amount. You're gonna want to do it for a lot more. What's the problem, Gershon? You're looking a little.
Between the Mishna and the Brisa.
No, meaning one is already soaking before, so then you'll carry it out. But one to go do all that in the first place.
He needs a sample to get an order from a big store. He's making up a little sample and he's going. And he's flying.
Meaning, if it's already soaking before Shabbos, so then that would be the amount. But to go lechila to soak like that, that's not going to be.
So it's subjective?
But the Gemara is saying a rule here. I think you would say the average person will not do a bunch of dyes just to do the.
But if he did it, then he's chayiv.
If he did it, no, because it's too well. Unless you go with the shitas that say that each person you go with.
Who's this guy?
What he's machshav? What?
What's the Brisa talking about? He did it. The guy did it.
Soaked. It's already the Brisa is talking about pre-soaked. So once it's pre-soaked, the amount to take out dyes that are already pre-soaked from before Shabbos is a much smaller amount because it's already soaked. To go lechatchila on Shabbos to start soaking dye, that a person wouldn't do unless it would be enough dye. Nothing to do with Shabbos. A person wouldn't add those little spices, not spices, herbs. A person wouldn't take these amount of herbs just to do that small amount. If they're already soaked, then he would. Right? So if he would, so you're right, that gets involved with the shitas we'll have in not the next mission, but the one after that, about do we go with subjective? Yeah? Okay, Meir Aglayim. Taner Meir Aglayim ad ben mem yoim. It means, now this is very interesting here. Meir Aglayim, I don't know if it's very interesting, but it's a little interesting, okay? Okay, ad ben mem yoim. So how would you type that? It has to be Meir Aglayim up until 40 days old, meaning after 40 days old, right?
Loses the strength.
Is it right? But that's what do you call it? If you look at the Tosfos, Rashi, there's no Rashi on this, but Tosfos says this is not the proper ein girsa zu nechoina. The second Tosfos on the Amud. The mashra shel katan ben men yoim, right? Okay, we don't have to do the whole Tosfos inside. So whatever it is, Tosfos comes out that ad ben, it's not really ad ben mem yoim, meaning it has to be mem yoim, right?
At least 40 days.
No, I'm sorry. The other way. Ad ben Miriam sounds like Rabbanan, like you said, up until 40 days. After 40 days, no, I'm sorry. That's the way. If you go to Ad ben Miriam, sorry, if you do it the way we have it, meaning up until 40 days, it's effective. After that, it's not effective, right? But there are Taisus clearly there was a girsa that was mashma from 40 days. That the way you learn this Gemara is from 40 days it's effective, and that Taisus doesn't. You see, look at the Dibur Maskal of the Taisus. See, it says Meira Glaim Ben Mem Yoim. He doesn't have the word ad, right? So it sounds like it has to be 40 days old. To which Taisus is saying no. It's up until 40 days old, and obviously our Gemara with Taisus' Gerson, they stuck in the word ad. Right? Okay.
I thought Taisus' issue was with the word ben.
What?
I thought Taisus' issue is with the word ben.
Well, ad, it's really the same thing. But the point, the point is
Ben makes it sound like the person who it originated from is 40 days.
What? Yeah, you mean that's Taisus.
You have to take the word right. Takes the word ben out, and that's ad.
Yeah, so that's what he says. Ve'inira the awesome now. Okay, without if he says ve'inira kasron the garsi ad mem ben yom, the end of the Taisus. Right? I'm just getting into the practical of how he learns the difference between. Yes.
Right. Taisus has issues with both of them. Taisus has issues with Ben, and he has issues with Ad. Both they're two different issues. Taisus has.
Well, Ad. No.
He first has an issue with Ben, and then he says, "It's the garsi shel mem yom."
You're right.
He's matcha both shut them before he comes out with his third sheet.
I said that the Gemara is going with Taisus. Is really not, because ours, you really, according to Taisus, you should drop the ben. Right? That's what you're saying. Yeah, you're right. So it's really our Gemara is not going. It's only going half of Taisus' girsa. Right? It's really Taisus says Tanamen Raglaim ben ad mem yoim, and our Gemara has ad ben. So our Gemara just, I guess the printer threw in all the options, right? But whatever it is, Taisus says it's got to go from 3 to 40 days. After that, it's no good. Okay.
Bach goes with Taisus. The Bach takes the word ben out.
Bach goes with Taisus, correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
They bring down an article at the bottom that the Rashi is clearly on Taisus, and from a Rashi in like Sanhedrin or something.
It's Rashi in Sanhedrin or Rashi in Nida?
Ramban in Hilchos Shabbos.
The Rashi they bring it down in Sanhedrin. Basically, up until 40 days, the way they understand Rashi is that Rashi's saying from 40 days and on, that's when it becomes very sour and pungent. You can use it as a cleanser. That's Taisus is clear on that.
Correct.
Taisus says once you get past 40 days, it's useless.
Yeah, that's clear. That's clear that Taisus is, But from 3 to 40. Fine. Okay, good. Very good. Thank you. Neser. What's Neser? Tana Neser Alexandrus, Veloy Neser Anpantrin. I don't know if that's the way to pronounce it or not, right? It's meaning there's different types of, the names of places, right? So it has to be a certain type of nesa. That's what we're talking about. Buris, which is literally translated as soap. That's sand. But we learned Buris or Buris and chol. So how could you say that Buris is chol? Ella, my Buris, kibriyasa. Buris is cabrisa. I'm sorry. Cabrisa is that one I looked up actually. So sulfur. Yeah, I don't know why anybody's carrying sulfur on Shabbos, but that's what it is. They added more things to this, which is chavlit. I have no idea what these things are. Alinin, Buris, oil. Well, Buris and oil we know. Right, oil is that we had before. That's what do we call that? Aloe. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. You have that written down in yours.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So again, these are talking about things that you have shmita. This price is not talking about Hilchos Shabbos. It's talking about shmita. Right? Anything that has a root into the ground, because you have to, shvius is about taking a vacation from the ground, right? So anything that roots into the ground is part of Shemitah. Anything that's above is ein loy. right? So Gemara says, "Elamai Buris Allah." What is Buris?
But sulfur doesn't have a root. Sulfur is a mineral.
No, I think the sulfur was a different thing.
But that's the kasha.
Elamai Buris, whatever it is, it says sulfur. Sulfur is a mineral.
Good.
The Gemara, it can't be sulfur because.
And the Mishnah's right, and the Mishnah in Shvius says it's adding what's it called again? Kabrisa, right?
Yeah, I missed the line. I'm sorry.
No, it's good. So you're helping bring it out, that right? So we're saying the Mishnah in Shvius, if Kabrisa doesn't have a root, right, Simon? That's exactly what you're saying. So it doesn't have a root, so how could it be included in Shemitah? So therefore, the whole thing can't be kavrisa. Elamai buris Allah. What it is, it's Allah. Vatani va buris va Allah. It says buris and Allah. Ela trey gavni Allah. No, there's two different types of aloe, right? Yeah. There's also Taisus as the different kasha. We already had a different measurement for chol from a bunch of blot ago. So how can you say that it's still chol? Okay, that's Taisus kasha. Kimbulia. Amar Yehuda shlaf dutz. That's called shlaf dutz. And Baruch Hashem, you get what chizik from the Rashi here. Rashi says, I don't know what it means, but he says that's the name, Shlefdut. So if Rashi didn't know, we're doing okay. At least we're going to get to this. Ashlag, yeah. So what is Ashlag? I asked all the people that went on the seas, that came down from overseas. Vamruli, Sainana Shmei. It's called Sainana or Shainana. And you find it in holes of marganisa. How do you say marganisa? Pearls, right? Umafkile baramsa, the parzel, and the way you take it out is with a sharp thing inside the holes of pearls. You take it out with a piece of metal. That's what ashlag is. Okay, so if you carry that out, so then if you carry, what was the amount that it said in the Mishnah? What was the amount? Right, that was enough to do the small garment of the lady. Okay, fine.
Is this mother of pearl?
I have no idea. I don't even know what mother of pearl is.
Mother of pearl is an actual jewel or something made into a jewel. This is talking about something that comes
nacre, technically.
Yeah.
Think of an oyster shell.
Yeah.
Little nacre.
I hear. I don't know. It's above my head. Okay, fine. Weiter. Pilpeles, pepper, kosher. That's a kosher, right? Which we'll see in the Gemara what exactly that means. Itron is also kosher. Itron is tar. That's also kosher. Mine psamim, mine matchos, different types of psamim and different types of metals is kosher. They're also just a minute amount, any amount. If you took some stones from the Mezbeach or from the dirt of Mezbeach, mekek svarim mekek mitfasem. We're going to see in the Gemara exactly what that means. But it means it's going to be like a worm. What do you call it? Bookworms. So if you have it from svarim and from the covers of the svarim, kosher, that's also kosher. Shematzniyanos and legoizin, because why is it a kosher? Because they hide it. That's what you hide it for geniza, for shemus. So since you would hide even the smallest amount, so therefore you'd be chayiv for carrying that amount of Shabbos. Even if you take out things that are used for Avoda Zara, it's a kosher. You cannot, literally the taich is, you cannot stick into your hand anything that's from chayrim, meaning from Avoda Zara. So since it's a mashu, you're not allowed to have a mashu, so then carrying that around is going to make you chayiv. It's okay.
So what's the difference between besamim and tavlin?
Tavlin, I think, is used to spice food. Besamim is to smell.
Oh, it's only for smell.
I think. I mean, I imagine you could put besamim into food too, no? I don't know.
And pilpul?
ArtScroll says perfume spices, but not seasoning spices, which were dealt with in the previous Mishnah.
Oh, okay. So that's okay. Baruch Shekivant here. So that's
comes to an halacha with Havdalah, no? Not supposed to use spices they used to cook for making Havdalah.
Right. I hear. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Okay, so papel is kosher, lemay chazia. What are you doing with a kosher What are you doing with the smallest amount of pepper? So l'reach hapeh, whatever that means. We've had that before too. That pepper takes care of bad breath. I don't know. The Metzias must have changed on that one, right? Fine. Itron kol shehu l'may chazia l'tilchasa for parrots for a migraine, right? It's a headache, right? Rashi says it's a koiv chatzi arosh.
Moshe wants to know if Advil also applies.
And a chanami, you're right. That's a good point. How much Advil would you have to carry in order to be chayiv? So it depends. Yes, Dr. Ryan, you need at least 4, right? Yes. If you look on the bottle, it says 2. You're right. That's exactly it. What would be in order to be chayiv on carrying an Advil? I think 1 Advil you wouldn't be chayiv, right? Because that's not going to take care of anything.
Even though it's its own berry in itself, I can imagine it says a pepper because it probably doesn't mean a ground up piece of tiny pepper. Probably means a peppercorn.
I think it does. No? I think it would mean. It means a peppercorn?
Yeah, peppercorn. You don't have to chew on pepper.
No, but I'm saying, what happens if you grind it up? So even I thought it's even the tiniest little speck. Okay, maybe not. Fine. Okay.
The other question before you move on, you're talking about Advil. Is that subject to the person though? Like I take a lot of Advil because I have other issues that I need Advil for.
Right.
So like 4 wouldn't cut it for me.
4 would not cut it for you.
No.
So then that gets into the other Mishna we were talking about before, where do we say these things are subjective or not? Okay. Right?
I don't recall what the.
No, we don't know, but that subjective is only to go l'chumra. We don't go subjective l'kul. You would have to go batal l'daita. Your dot you would be batal to what the normal dosage would be. The question is what's a normal dosage, but I think 4 for sure. 2, I think, would be the normal dose because that's what it says on the bottle. Meaning, if you took 1, that's what Peretz says. And let's say you take 1 and that's enough. Then that would be a shaila whether you're going to be chayiv just for 1. But if you take more, you're going to be batal your das to what the normal dosage is, right? So here, I guess I don't know exactly how they what they do with this tar, right? They stuck it on your head for a headache, maybe. Okay, yeah. So minei psamim kol shein tarabon amaitzi reach ra kol shehu. If you're taking out a reach ra, it's a kol shehu. Right? So Rashi says, what does that mean, a reach ra? What you do is you take something and you smoke it up, and it what do you call it? It takes mazikin away from you. Mazikin shadim by having bad smelling things. It gets shadim away from you. Okay. Shem and toiv kol shehu, and good oil is also a kol shehu, right? And argamon and purple, right? Argamon, like they had what the kings use, argamon kol shehu, upesulos haveret achas, and a veret is a rose, a basula rose, meaning a rose that was it never was used or anything like that. So then it's achas. That's also 1. 1 little petal of a rose would be enough. Fine. Mine matchas kolshin. Metal is a kosher. What are you going to do with metal? What you can do with metal is you can make a darban cotton, is a tiny little piece of metal that you would use to hit the animals with, right? To lead them. If somebody says that harayla is always a lashon of making something hektish. So a guy says he's going to make hektish a piece of barzel. So how much, he doesn't say how much he's giving to the Beis HaMikdash. He just said, I'm making barzel hektish. So how much, what's the amount? So we go with the minimum. You don't make it less than 1 amma by an amma. Lamai chazia. What's it for? What are you going to do with, what is the Beis HaMikdash going to do with metal? You do it to the things, to the metal that they stick to chase away the birds. Like they have it by the kosher, right? Those metals, like those pieces of metals that the birds can't land on the kosher.
They had that. They had at the top of the Beis HaMikdash.
Right. They have it in Shoyashuv. They have it in Shoyashuv also.
Yeah, they have it in Shoyashuv, right? Exactly. They have it on the kosher. So that's what it's talking about. That would be the amount of metal to do that. You can't do less than that. Okay, it's just different versions of the same Gemara. Fine. So nechoshes, how do you touch nechoshes? Which type is that? Copper, right? Lo yichas mimah kesef. He can't do it more than a ma of silver. Tanya Rebbe Lezer lo yichas mitzinura ketana shel nechoshes. No less than a tzinor. How do you call it? Mazleg. Rashi says it's a fork, a small fork made out of copper. Lamai Chazi, what are you doing with that fork? They used it to, when you take out the residue from the menorah, so they stuck in this fork, this copper fork in there to scoop it all out to get it clean. So that's what it would. That's a minimum amount. Mekek svarim umekek mitfachas. So the decay of svarim and the decay of mitfachas. Somebody Yehuda mekek the sifri. Tachach, the shiroi ve'ela, the inviu pad, the ta'ini, v'hava, the remaining kulos. I'm going too fast there. Okay, so mekek the sifri, right? The mekek of svarim is tachach. Yeah, tachach the shiroi. It's a type of worm that you use shiroi for silk. Ve'ila, the anivi, and ila is a different type of worm that goes into grapes. Upa the ta'ini, and a different type of worm that goes into figs, ha the remaining, and a different type of worm ha that goes into pomegranates. Kulu sakanta, they're all a sakana. Meaning, if you eat these worms and any of these fruits, then you're going to be in a sakana. Hu talmida, Tavi Yosef came to Rabbi Yochanan. There was a Talmud sitting in front of Rabbi Yochanan, havaka'achol ta'ini, and he was eating figs. Amar leh. Rebbe, he said to Rabbi Yochanan, Rebbe, yesh b'ta'iniv, there are thorns in these figs. Amrlei katle pa ladin. They're going to the peh. The peh is the one that went in. That was the name of the worm that goes in figs. Is going to. Am I calling it? Figs. The peh. Right, that's the one that was figs. Yeah, peh the ta'ini. Right. So this peh worm is going to kill this guy, meaning he thinks he's eating. This Talmud thought that he was eating thorns, and really it was these worms that are going to kill him. So basically, these little worms, right, that decay the svarim, so it's a mashu, because since you're going to have to put it into shemus, so therefore that's the minimum amount to carry. You carry even the slightest amount, then you're going to be chayiv. Okay. Zok the Mishna. If you carry out a box of Reichlin are, from the word rechilus. Now, we're not doing into the Musa thing of Lashon Hara, rechilus, right? So rechilus means the guys that...
peddlers.
Right, salesmen,
peddlers, and all that. So they have a box, and they have all their stuff that they're selling, right? So if you carry out an entire box. So now, meaning, so you have a peddler. So in it, he's got a 5 and dime store going in his box. So he's got all different items. So if he carries out that box, is he chayiv once or is he chayiv for each and every item? So the Mishnah is saying that he's chayiv for one chat. We look at the box as one entity, and we don't look at it as separate entities. Right?
Yaakov, back in the day, they used to have something called baseball, and they would walk around the stands with the hot dog thing on their head, and it had buns and the hot dogs and all the condiments. So if a guy carried that, even though it has everything in it. But that was a mole way back.
No, but the parrots, excuse me, he has a full shiur. He has a whole hot dog. It's not a sample. It's not the same case.
Oh, you're saying that this is... Well, Reichlin maybe. Who says Reichlin is only samples? Maybe he's got the whole thing.
What do you mean? He has whole hot dogs. He got buns. He's got the
so I'm saying that's not the case in the Mishnah. That's what I'm saying.
No, it is. It is the case.
No,
it's the same thing. It's the difference between if I have a bunch of stuff.
I think it's both. It's either way. You got a whole box full of stuff.
Okay, fine.
It could be either one, but the point is that you only hire for the box.
You
so
know what? This is not Shea Stadium. This was Yankee Stadium.
Listen, bottom line is if you're looking to scam the system and you want to carry a lot of things out and you only want to be chayiv one chatas, put it all into one box and carry it out. That's the bottom line. If you're looking for a way out, right? That's what you do. Right? So anyways.
Yeah, but does it have to be the derech for doing it? Like, is it a peddler cart or is it stomach cart? Like, if I decide to pile everything in.
It sounds
shot that it has to be, meant for a sales cart?
I don't know. The Rashi says you only chayav the kulach adahoitzah, all one carrying. It's only one carrying. You only carry it out once. I don't know. To me, it sounds like it's anything. I think. Right? Fine.
Why would this be the same thing we had like 3 times already? So usually the kli is bottled to the food, for example.
Right.
But here it's a specific thing. A kupas aroichlin, it's this kind of box of goodies.
So you're saying, if it's not meant to hold the goodies, then it doesn't?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you take a box and you go put in your kid's blanket and his bottle and his passport, you put it in a box. That they only chayav once?
No, they do 4 different things.
No. Okay, that's what you're saying. You're saying that So what's happening if it's, what do you call it? A baby bag. Right? Whatever, that they put all the baby. Right.
That would be kupas.
That would be the equivalent of kupas aroichlin, yeah? I think so, right?
Yeah.
So you're right. It depends on what would be the norm or what would not be the norm. You see, saying my scam doesn't really work. These things that have shaykhs to each other. Okay, fair enough. Okay, good. There's seeds that you're going to plant in a garden. It's less than a groigers. Now the chiddush of that is that seeds are edible. And we know that food, we said, is a groigers, like a dried fig. And here we're saying it's even less than a dried fig. Why? Because, we'll see in the Gemara. Yeah. Yehuda chamisha, no, it has to be 5 seeds. Right? You're chayav, you need to carry 5 seeds. Zera kishuin, right? So seeds of kishuin, right? There's, what do we call kishuin? Gourds, right? No, then it's diluin is gourds. Kishuin, cucumbers, or I thought we said
watermelon.
What?
So watermelon.
I thought.
Our school says cucumbers.
Our school says cucumber. I thought a kishun was also like melons. Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is. Zera kishun.
They're all gourds. They're different kinds of gourds.
It's okay. Different types of. Yeah. We'll go with the vegetables. Zera kishun shnayim. So then you need to carry out 2 to be chayiv. Zera diluin and zera diluin. That's gourds shnayim. Zera pula mitzri. That's some sort of bean from Mitzrayim. Shnayim. That's shnayim. Chagav chai. So what do you call it? A live grasshopper, kosher. Then that's even whatever size grasshopper it is, you're chayiv. Mace, if it's dead, then it's kegroigris. Why? Because it's a food, right? Back then they ate grasshoppers, which we'll get to in the Gemara. But if it's a dead one, so if it's alive, you can't eat it. So, I'm sorry, if it's alive, so it's a kosher, because you could do whatever size that grasshopper is, whatever it is that you do with a live grasshopper, you do with it. But if it's mace, it turns into a food. It's not a food when it's alive because you're not allowed to eat it because it's bal teshak, so it's disgusting, right? So, but once it dies, it's a food. So then it goes up to a groigers. The pyrus krumim. It's also a type of bug. Bein chaya, bein mesa kosher. Whether it's alive or whether it's dead, it's a kosher because people don't eat that. Shematzniya nasil refuah, and also they're matzniya for refuah. They use it to heal people. Yehuda Omer afamay tichag of chay tamei kosher. Even if you take out a chag of chay that's tamei, it's a kosher. Shematzniya nasil cotton lislik boy, because you would use a chag of a grasshopper to hide it for kids, meaning that's what kids would play with. So the Gemara asks, Ramina asks, Kasha Zevel v'chol hadek. Zevel we touched as not manure, fertilizer, right? V'chol hadek and small thin dirt, sand. I guess kadei lezavel kelach shal kruv. It's enough. How much do you have to carry out of that stuff? That's enough to fertilize a stalk of kruv, right? Cabbage. Leek. Okay, I thought krisha was a leek. Krov, krisha, I don't know. They're different types of vegetables. Some are papa hadis ria. So 1 second. So you see that it's chol hadek is kadei lezavel kelach shal krov, and chum say shal krisha, right? So meaning you see that one kelach, it doesn't need to have a larger amount. So it's a steer to our Mishnah. Like we said before, Amud Aleph, one somewhere where he planted it already, and one somewhere where he didn't plant it. Why? Nobody's going to go take out one seed to plant. Meaning, when you want to plant something, take out one seed and plant it. It's not worth it for you to do that. So you would only take out 5 or whatever different shittas are in the Mishnah. What do you want to say?
Yaakov, didn't we have the exact same shaka v'tayr in the other Gemara coming from the other way? So why is the Gemara repeating itself? The Gemara Mamish saw this went through the exact same shaka v'tayr.
This is the Iker place, and before it was asking a kasha from this.
I'm saying, but it's the same. It's not like the Gemara is bringing out any new chedushim here.
True, but I think here's the Iker Gemara, and there the Gemara quoted this Gemara, and then
it gave the same teretz. Republic gave the same teretz, I think.
You're right. Listen, don't complain. It makes it a little easier for us.
Yeah, it's interesting. I didn't know the Gemara just tried to repeat itself.
No, you're right. But I think if you ultimately analyze the previous Gemara, it's taking it from a little bit of a different angle. I think that's what I understand. Okay,
that's what I'm trying to ask.
Yeah, Zara Kishuin. So somebody who took out seeds, imlanatia shtayim. If you're using it to plant, then it's 2. Imla achila kamlai pi chazir. If it's for eating, right? Then it's the amount of the mouth, meaning you're not eating it, because we know if you're eating it, then it's a groigris. If you're using it for achila of animals, kamlai pi chazir, then it would have to be the mouth of a chazir, right? For kama malai pi chazir, how much is the mouth of a chazir? Achas.
Can I ask a really random question on this?
Yeah.
How is it that we're talking about a pig's mouthful, but Yidden aren't allowed to own pigs?
Very good. No, because this only has to do with the amount that you would normally be.
Who said they can't own pigs?
You can't own pigs. There's a special gezerah about owning pigs.
There's a gezerah not to own pigs. Yes, there's a gezerah not.
You can't raise pigs in Eretz Yisrael. Who says you can't own pigs in Kit?
Taisus burns the question. Taisus speaks out the question. He mamish asked that as a kasha. He doesn't ask it. He bavarns it. He says, "Pirish sharoy elitim the kavim." Yeah, he's basically asking, "What do you have it for?"
Whoa. Taisus doesn't. Sorry about that. That's
He bavarns it. He doesn't ask it, but he's explaining why would you have these types of pits?
Right, because it's a Yid doesn't have pigs.
Right. So he answers that it's to sell.
Right. See, the second Taisus, Simon, the second Taisus discusses it. Anyways, we gotta get for the daf, yeah. So anyways, if it's for food to feed animals, it's the amount of a pig's mouth. How much is that? That's 1. Imla hasik, if you're using it to light a fire, because they lavashal beitza kala, that would be enough fuel in order to cook a chicken's egg. Imla cheshbon, if it's to make a cheshbon, meaning you want to use it. What was the name of those things they used to count?
Abacus.
There you go. I would never have gotten that word. That's exactly what I was thinking. Right? So if you're using it as an abacus, shtayim, then there would be 2, right? 2 pits, 2 seeds. And others say that it's 5. Okay. Somebody who carries out 2 hairs from the tail of a sus, umizan of a para, and from the tail of a para chayiv. I say because what they do is they use it for traps. They use it to make traps. So to trap birds. That's the amount that somebody would take. Miksha shel chazir. Again, we go with chazir. If you're taking out the Rashi says, and on the nimen koshin shebeshedra shel chazir, there were these little hairs that were hard that are on the back of the chazir. So how much is that? Achas, then it's 1. If you only take out 1. Tzurei dekel. Tzurei dekel is things from a palm tree. Shtayim. Shtayim, it's 2 of them. Turei dekel. But if it's from the again, I can't say I understand exactly the differences where in the dekel tree these 2 are coming from, but then it's only achas. Fine. Tziporis kromim bein chaya bein meisa kosher. Right. So whatever this type of grasshopper, whether it's alive, whether it says a kosher, my tziporis kromim. What is it? What is a tziporis kromim? Literally, the taich is a bird of a kerem, of a vineyard. Right. So Amar Rav Palya, Amar Rav says Palya be'eri. Right. That's the name. Rashi says Amar Abai mustakach bedikla techad nevara. It's found in a decal in a palm tree. Right. That only has one, like we just said before, it has one. And they use it to make you smart. Right? If you eat if you eat it on the right, if you eat the right half of this thing, then if you get, you'll be smart if you eat the right half of this thing. And if you eat the left half and you put it into a tube that's made out of metal, which we had before, and you seal it with 60 different seals, and you hang it on your left arm, and that would be effective. The lave of a chacham is to the right, and the lave of ksil is and a fool goes to the left. And if you're going to become very smart as much as you want, right? I don't know exactly what that means. Why would anybody not want a lot of smartness? Okay, but Gomar, and you can learn and you can learn as much as you want. And then you have to eat the other half, the Eloi, because if you don't, then you're going to forget your Talmud. I don't know. Okay, so basically you're eating half of this locust. It's going to make you smart, but you got to eat the other half too. Otherwise, you're not going to be so smart. One thing I take out from this Gemara is that, people ask, could they take ADD medication in order to learn? Should you do that, right? Like, you learn a lot better if you take ADD, ADHD medication. From here, it sounds like, it doesn't say you should do it, but it sure sounds like you're allowed to do it, right? That's an easy way to become a chacham, eat a grasshopper. No? Okay, I don't know.
They also say don't sleep on top of your clothes with your head on top of clothes or you forget your learning.
No, that's forgetting. That's different.
That's what I'm saying. They will forget your learning.
No, that's a lot.
They have all these little.
No, but this is different. This is doing something to make you smarter.
Yeah, but one is organic, you can say, natural, and the other one's not. ADD, it's a medication.
Right, but I'm saying, but nowadays we take all sorts of medications. So I don't know.
Are the medications good for a person?
You're right, but who says? Okay, you're right. You're saying a medication may have negative effects, but
Correct.
You're saying, natural therapies and all that to make you learn better, that you can do.
That would understand, but you were saying about the ADD medication, like Ritalin, that can have effects on you.
Right. That's a little bit of a stretch.
Why is that so far off than coffee, right? If someone's drinking coffee,
correct, exactly. Why is that more? Why? Let's say a guy has a headache. Is he mechuyev to take an Advil? Is he mechuyev to take Advil so he can learn, or can he say, no, I have a headache now, I'm putter, I'm a chayla, I can't learn? You mechuyev to take Advil or not? Big rabbis.
You don't want it to get worse.
No, but let's say let's say you could take a nap for 2 hours. Your headache will get better. Are you mechuyev to take Advil? Right? Or
it's going to get better if you take a nap?
I don't know. No, but I'm saying, are you being mechuyev to do this grasshopper thing to make yourself smarter? Can you say, no.
How bad is everyone mechuyev before Shavuos night to take a 5-hour energy?
Right, or whatever, right? These type of things. From here, it sounds like at least you have that option. That's for sure. Okay, I have no idea.
Where can we get this grasshopper, Rabbi?
I don't know.
Hungry.
I don't know. It happens to be a couple years ago, like several years even before I left New York, they had something called the I don't remember what it's called now. Basically, they had grasshoppers, or they had these locusts. They had cuts of meat from random kosher.
The OU did it.
I don't think it was the OU.
Belsky ran the whole thing.
No, this is before Rabbi Belsky. This is another one. And everyone got the halachic dinner. I'm sorry, it was called the halachic dinner. And
it was 15 years ago.
And it got people so sick because for whatever reason, people are saying it was a locust. People are saying it was a katsumi. I don't know, but I'm reading all this stuff now and having flashbacks of all my friends like going to the hospital.
Anyway, by the way, why is it that we taka don't? It's good you reminded me. Why taka do we not eat grasshoppers?
Messiah, no? The Tamanim do eat it because they have Messiah,
Yeah.
no?
Pesticides.
We do not have a Messiah of which grasshoppers are kosher, which ones are not. By the way, live again, you can't eat them, right? Which we'll get to in a second. The Orach Chaim HaKadosh is the one that pretty much put a stop to the grasshoppers. Historically, he was the one that said it's a no-go. Okay, let me just finish up here.
What was that whole story with Reb Chaim Kanevsky with the grasshopper?
Yeah, when it flew into them, he needed to know what type. Yeah. That's what they say. Anyways, Rabbi Yehuda Imer Afam Baitzi, the Tanakama Savar Loi, right? The Tanakama holds not, right? Meaning it's not a mashu. My timer Dilma Achale, no, because perhaps you're gonna want to eat it, right? You mean you're not gonna want? You're not gonna want to give it to the kid because the kid will end up eating the grasshopper. Ihachi tar nami. So if that's the case, not only a tummy one, so a tar one also. Rav Kahana have a kam kamed the Rav. Rav Kahana was sitting in front of Rav, have a kamaver shashiva apume, and he took a live grasshopper by his mouth. Amrle shtakle, take it away. Don't put the live grasshopper near your mouth, because people are going to say you're eating a live grasshopper and you're over about the shaksu. Ella dilma mayis va'achale. So the pshat is no, perhaps it's going to die, and then he's going to eat it. Right? So Rabbi Yehuda is saying, no, he's saying, it's interesting, he's saying this pshat, that if it does die, the kid's not going to eat it. He's going to say a hesped on it, the kid. The kid's not going to eat it. He's going to be really sad that he just lost his live toy. So therefore, it's not a chashash of him eating it. All right, fine.
So we don't want to say, hesped in general. Or because it's Shabbos.
Don't leave. I got to tell you a story, parrots.
Wake him up.
What's the problem with hesped?
The kid is just going to be, he's not going to eat it. He's going to be so dead. He's not going to eat his toy.
The Shveri's there.
What's considered, when is it considered dead? Like if you chew it, is it considered eating?
No, you can't put it live into your mouth. Put a fish. You can't take a goldfish and eat it.
It's expensive. You got a job there. It's right back there.
Right? You can't take a goldfish and eat it live. You got to wait for it to die first. Okay, I'm going to jump outside the Dam. Gute Nacht.
Right.
Gute Nacht.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll tell you a good hot dog story from Ebbets Field. So I was in 1956. I was 8 years old. So my mother's sister, my Aunt Beatty, took 4 or 5 of us. I don't remember. The Ebbets Field for a game, and so she bought us nosh. So we took, chips, whatever. I can't remember in such detail. So many years ago. But the story in my family, I don't even know if I remembered from the happening. My cousin Larry Oliver Shalom, he was the oldest cousin. He was like 4 or 5 years older than Raps. Okay, so he was tall. He was a big guy, 6'2", 6'4", my cousin Larry at the time. So he was like 6. We was 8, 9, 10. He was already 17, 18. So he bought a hot dog. So my cousin Stanley, my Aunt Petey's second son, says, I can have a hot dog. His mother says, you can't have a hot dog. It's not kosher. So he says, why could Larry get it? So Larry looks at him. He says, because I don't go to yeshiva anymore. That's the hot dog story.
Listen, who from this doc, was it one rose out of a dozen or just one petal?
I think it's one petal.
Article says one petal.
I had a big machlokes with Rafal Weingart when I was dating.
Parrots, why are you still muting me? The shiur's over.
Because I couldn't hear the word.
Aaron, there's a meiri that says you can't smoke a cigar. On our Amud, there's a meiri that says you can't smoke a cigar if you have 6 pounds of flesh. He says it's not good. Maybe right over there. Look it up.
Mark, I said we only had 4 pounds of flesh.
Oh, okay, fine.
We took care of that side.
Reb Aaron, so we had a big machlokes. What's worse or what's better? 1 rose or a dozen rose? Which one
Clarence,
is
when are we
today?
starting to dive in Minion, by the way?
What are you asking me for? I'm about to do construction.
I heard you got plenty of time.
No, the guy was here tonight.
Yeah? When's he starting?